Why did we decide to buy a van? So why did we decide to buy a van?
Yeah, it's funny. I think we actually bought the first van 3 years ago, just before COVID kicked off, because we had this little pocket window of time where you were studying online and I was working remotely, and we wanted to travel still. Aoife, you've been to Australia, you've kind of done a few years abroad. I hadn't done that as much, and we thought we could kind of combine the both
Yeah.
by building out a van and living in it.
And to give ourselves the freedom, being able to like work and live wherever we want, wake up in a different place every day, save on rent.
Big time.
Yeah.
So the cost of it all, it was definitely always going to depend on what type of van we got in the beginning, and that was off mileage and how far we had to go to get it, what type of condition it was in. But the one we found, which is tentatively called Nancy, we called her Nancy Spain inspired, but we got it for around just under 10,000. We'd have had a softer budget of about 10,000 to do the rest of it out, to kind of kit it out. But there's loads of unforeseen stuff. I mean, the price of wood skyrocketed, and a lot of the
Price of diesel.
Yeah,
just
the
as we
diesel went
set
up,
off to
but
travel.
Brexit kind of affected the supply chain of stuff coming through, so it was
Yeah.
kind of a living budget, very much so. Were you confident
In building the van?
at the beginning?
I don't know. I think you
Are
see
you
it on
confident now?
YouTube and you think like, oh, that's not so bad, I could do that. But yeah, when it gets down to it, there's some parts that can be quite confusing, like the electrics. Thankfully, you took over on that entirely because I would have no idea. But the resources that are out there are incredible.
Yeah, YouTube changed. I mean, it made it possible, to be fair. I think what we found is, as we've gone to build anything, whether it's the furniture or the electrics, the actual doing of it isn't half as hard as the planning it. Figuring out what we need. It's kind of a double-edged sword, YouTube, in that it shows you how to do everything, but then there's a million variations of it, and you don't know, like they don't all fit together, and you're seeing snippets of other people's
which one's
bins.
the best one to do, and
Yeah, it was just organising it in the end, but without a doubt, I don't know if we would have been as keen to do it had it not been for YouTube.
I think the hardest part of all of this is finding the time to get to do it. We both work. James works full time, I part-time work, and I'm his college student as well. So we only really get the 2 days a week where we're both free and we can get some work done.
Yeah,
And
we kind of laugh about it every week, even though those are the 2 days that we have. It's 12 o'clock on a Saturday before we get started, because we live in B&Q.
Yeah,
We
7
basically live
trips.
in B&Q back and forth. They're probably wondering what the hell we're doing, but it's all the time. Yeah, and again, not like just the build, but the planning of stuff takes the time. We try to do it through the week in some of our evenings, but yeah, it's time's gold dust, isn't it? Can't get enough of it right now.
For us, what makes the van different from buying it and converting it ourselves as opposed to buying a pre-made, like an actual camper van, we get to decide exactly the layout, we get to personalise it. It's also a lot cheaper. We found stuff like on Dundeal and different things where camper vans were going for like 50, 60,000 compared to what our total cost would be, a third of that even. And we get to choose everything. We get to pick where our shower is going to be. Like, we get to pick everything, like how much storage space we're going to have and everything like that.
Because we've painstakingly gone through the process, we know a lot about it and how to fix it and troubleshoot it. and again to research to find the answers, or to just go ahead and fix it ourselves. That's what it's the confidence that gives us. I think is definitely what will make us more comfortable with going further with it, which is the idea. To go wherever we want. Like ballpark, would love to leave August.
For Europe.
Most likely ferry to France.
Yeah.
And then actually flip the planning, and we're going to go north.
Go north, and then when the winter starts hitting, start making our way towards the south, the warmer countries like Croatia and Greece. And
this is the plan.
Yeah, the plan, but they always change.
new plan tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest concerns for our van trip was security. So we got this guard dog,
this vicious guard dog,
ferocious beast. His teething at the minutes was actually quite ferocious, but yeah. So I think it was one of the things we always kind of wanted. I think the lifestyle that comes with having a dog as well. Like while we're traveling, it's a great opportunity to not necessarily be in cities and do that stuff, but.
Yeah, to get outside, because it's such a small place that we'll be living in. Like, this would be our kitchen, our bathroom, our bedroom, our sitting room, our office, all in one. So we definitely will be getting outdoors a lot more, and then having a definite thing to get you outside walking several times a day will be good. So this is Blue.
Yeah.
Our little monster.
Don't break into our van.
Watch
He'll
out.
get you. He'll get you. Yeah, advice for other people doing it. I think most people that we've shown it to kind of look at it and go, gee, anyway, we could never do that. But it is the whole thing of climbing a mountain. You don't climb a mountain in a step type of thing. It's multiple steps, and we're learning it as we go. It's so doable.
It's so doable.
It's so doable.
I'd never used a drill before we started this, so.
You did all the pocket jigs now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, from the starting out process, the most important thing, because all the money that's gone into it, if we sell it, it's an investment, and they do sell for more afterwards. Not that was our primary agenda, but it's nice knowing that we can, get the right parts, because the money's kind of invested, it's protected, and you get it back, and it's not necessarily money wasted.
But I think it's very doable for everybody. Like we said, there's so many YouTube resources and different things like that to teach you through step by step. Like, we were terrified cutting holes into the van to put windows in. We put 5 windows in and a roof fan in. So when that happened, it was terrifying. But after the first cut, and once it comes out and you put everything in, you're like, oh, it actually looks professional. It doesn't look as bad. So everything, I think, it just needs a little
surprised.
bit.
I'm constantly surprised at how things come out, and you're kind of like, maybe we know what we're doing. Maybe we're not. Maybe it's a mistake. I
think it's definitely feasible, and I think the biggest thing is just to make sure it's what you want. Like, it's going to be an adjustment to living in here for sure. Yeah. It's such a small space. We're going to be on top of each other. But I think we're prepared.
But
it's something we've wanted for a long time. This is the second van we've bought. But only the first one we've converted, so.
But it's funny, I kind of, there's been such a turnaround for my mum. At the beginning we bought a van. She's kind of like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
People don't understand
the way of life. And then as she's come out and seen
it
kind of in the last while, she's pulled me aside a few times, and she's like, I'm really proud of you. Like, this is something you're kind of chasing, something that's not
conventional
or easy, or kind of, the path to it's not easy, but you're trying to chase something that you believe you want. And I didn't expect her to say it, but I think as she kind of saw it come together, it didn't just look like we were moving into a mattress in the van type of thing. But yeah, it's definitely inspired me on a little bit more.
It's a different way of life, and I don't think it's for everybody. But I think
that's true.
I don't think that you should concern yourself too much with what other people think, because people might not understand, why are we living in a van? Why aren't we saving for a mortgage?
Do you guys shower?
Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it? Are you going to shower?
Are you going to have a toilet in there?
Yeah. You just have a hole in the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
But I think it's what we want. It's what we know is what's going to work for us, our lifestyle, and it's going to help us save money in the long term, because we're going to stay employed online and just get to travel, study, work, and make experiences and figure everything out. And then when we come back, sure, we'll have a bit of money set aside that we can figure out what the next step is.
You can rent these things out afterwards too, but it's like now, especially after the pandemic, like remote working's just become the thing, as in even that hybrid side of it all is a lot more standard. And the next step for that is for a lot of people being able to say, hey, I'd love to do 6 months fully remote, and that gives them the flexibility to, you know, maybe help their family with something for a little while, or to do a little bit of traveling and stay employed, because most jobs can do that. So the timing for this was just like, it wasn't there for the first time we bought the
No, that's COVID was a blessing in disguise for a lot of things like this. For me being able, for things like this, for me being able to get to study remotely online, and James being able to work remotely online when those opportunities weren't really there before this. So now we both get to work and study from wherever in the world.